Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the SmarkTank Revolution, where we always kick out at 2. I am your solo host today, Joey. On this day, I see clearly business. And horrible singing aside, if you couldn't guess from that kitschy little intro, we are discussing the debut, the AEW debut of one Adam Copeland, formerly known as Edge. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, hell hath frozen over, and we got it. Now, if you're in the wrestling sphere, or if you're on the dirt sheets, or you even just touch a keyboard these days, there's no shortage of these. There's an abundance of rumors of XYZ going to AEW. At one point there was Randy Orton, there was Brock Lesnar, there was Triple H. Hell, there was even Roman Reigns at one point, if I recall. And for every CM Punk, we get like 5 of those. But got to give TK credit. He did it. His pockets did it. Once again, he was able to capture another one of his childhood heroes and bring him over to the other side. And I got to say, I'm happy. But there is a lot of thoughts to unpack on this, which is why I decided to get up on the horn and say, hey, you know what? Let's unpack them. First of all, the return debuted for Edge. I got to get used to saying that. Adam Copeland happened at WrestleDream last Sunday night. And I was not able to share this debut with my illustrious co-host, Big Time Donnie, because he was doing Big Time Donnie things out in Las Vegas, and he was covering the Canelo versus Charlo fight. And I'm not a boxing guy, but I guess that's pretty big. And of course it is, because Donnie was there. But I did get to enjoy it with a very good friend, my friend Billy Nichols of The Brand Show. And more on that, some news on that coming soon to the SmarkTank Revolution. However, it was a great time. It was definitely a great time. We enjoyed it. For the most part, I'll say we enjoyed it for the most part. We did have it turned down pretty low because we were kind of splitting our attention between the Sunday night football game, which is what you do in America on a Sunday night. I mean, come on. Who doesn't listen? AEW or Taylor Swift and red lipstick. I mean, it's not really that big of a choice. But anyways, I digress. We were watching it, and I have to say, the show was definitely a one-trick pony. Watching it out of more of the morbid curiosity factor. Now, I love AEW. I'm an AEW fanboy. My friend is not. However, there's some great things that AEW does. Pay-per-view is one of them. They always seem to pull a rabbit out of their hat when it comes to these pay-per-views. Even with the smallest amount of build, they turn, chicken salad and chicken shit into chicken salad. And I apologize for all the tongue twisters today. Definitely some coffee is in the mix. But yeah, so it kind of was like, okay, are they going to really pull the trigger on this? I don't think they will. Do they have the balls to do this? I doubt it. But then when they made Christian Cage versus Darby Allin 2 out of 3 falls for the TNT Championship, admittedly their Intercontinental Championship, as the main event, yeah, there was definitely some meat on that bone. And it brought the intrigue even more. Now, what brought the intrigue even more is, if you do some slight detective work, you notice that Edge was removed from the WWE internal roster Saturday night. Completely removed, all references and whatnot. So that kind of led more speculation to the fire. And also, he had one of those deals that once expired, once released, he was able to work anywhere he wanted immediately. It wasn't a 90-day no-compete clause, nothing like that. So WrestleDream started becoming a reality. And I was like, I don't know if they're going to do it, but if they're going to do it, I'm all for it, because I did, ironically, not even on purpose, ironically, happened to watch Edge's final match on SmackDown the night before WrestleDream. I was just clicking around the network and, Peacock, whatever you want to fucking call it. And I came across the match, which I've never seen. I saw the highlights before, but I never saw the match. And I decided, all right, I'm going to watch this match for some reason. So I watched it. And I watched it before No Mercy. And a stellar pay-per-view, by the way. No Mercy stellar pay-per-view is a sidebar, because the two main events were just out of this world. But anyways, and yes, that makes a stellar pay-per-view in my book. Okay. Anyways, I digress again. I decided to watch his match with Sheamus from SmackDown. And it was good. It was definitely good. But it wasn't this be-all, end-all retirement experience, going out on your sword, going out on top, or any of those, old adages. Nothing of that. It felt like a really, really good SmackDown main event. Nothing I would put in my, match of the year candidacy. But I watched then Edge's body language, and everything said he wasn't done. Like after he won, it looked like unfinished business. Like it looked like the result of a man who was being told you're done rather than being done. And let's face it, in life, no one should tell you you're done other than you. As the great Rocky Balboa would say, do you think just because you have one too many birthdays, you should not continue towards a goal? I think not. So that being said, and I'm paraphrasing that, it's a line from Rocky Balboa. It's probably not exact, but it's pretty damn close. And don't fucking correct me on it. I don't care. I hear the keyboard clacking. It's fine. But yeah, no. So everything told me he wasn't done. And I was sitting there going, well, if he's done with WWE, does he sign a Legends deal? Does he just pull the Undertaker and start making the yearly appearance? Does he start becoming the special attraction? Because let's face it, Edge is a Hall of Famer, top tier, all-timer. He is one of the top guys in the WWE Pantheon and legacy. And why wouldn't you want him on your roster? So the fact that the WWE did not just immediately lock him up told me that they probably tried, but he didn't want to be locked up. And it was being very hush-hush, and it was being quiet. But then he came out and debunked those rumors, and he said, I have a contract extension sitting in my inbox, and I haven't decided what to do with it. Well, the fact of the matter is, that was kind of when the fuel started for me. Because if you had a contract extension in your inbox, it's WW-fucking-E. And I'm pretty sure 9 out of 10 people would have stamped that bitch and sent it off. He didn't. That tells me that they didn't see him as a focus. And why would they see him as a focus? Let's face it, WWE is now becoming what it was pre-Attitude Era again, the new generation. It's, you got the LA Knights, you got the Dom Mysterios, you got Finn Balor, you got Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. Some of these people are a mix of, you got Cody Rhodes leading the charge. Some of these people are a mix of new and old stars, but what I'm saying is they're no longer becoming the place for Hall of Fame acts, on a surprise basis. They're trying to build their roster with up and comers and the future, something that they were sorely not doing for about 10 years when they were just relying on John Cena. So they've decided to start going that direction with NXT. You can see it. The program. I mean, just go watch some of the men and women in NXT, ladies and gentlemen. They are phenomenal. Not to steal from AJ, but they're unreal. They are the next breed. And you could see these guys main eventing tomorrow. But so with a guy like Edge, you brought him back. He was told he was never going to wrestle again. He comes back. He's had a great run. Did he put anyone over? This is the argument I hear. No, he did not really put anyone over besides Roman Reigns when, he smashed them and stacked them at WrestleMania 37. No, he didn't. At the same point in time, who fucking cares? It's Edge. Did it hurt Finn Balor not to put him over? That you could argue maybe a little bit. But Finn's finding his stride now. And it's Edge. Give the guy his flowers. Let him have his run. He's done so much for the wrestling business. He's been an amazing champion, amazing money draw. I mean, he's a good guy. He's just a good fucking guy. That whole history with, him banging Lita from Matt Hardy aside, he's a good guy. You don't hear any complaints about Adam Copeland. So why wouldn't you want him on your roster? Well, apparently WWE just doesn't have room for him. Or maybe he didn't want to play second fiddle and say, hey, Roman's got this thing locked up for years. And if it's not Roman, it's going to be Cody. Or, and there's no place for me. I mean, I would have at the very least had Edge have a blowout with Seth Rollins and take the title one more time. I mean, that's what that title is for. That hot potato title is what it should be. The world title on Seth Rollins should be the hot potato title. Build some fucking stars. Again, everyone who watches and listens to this show, you know that I'm the master of the tangential, and I go off on all these little tangents. So there's another one. But now, let's bring us back to Wrestle Dream. The show was average, or as MJF likes to say, mid, painstakingly mid. I did dig Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. I'm not a big fan of Zack Sabre Jr. He's technical as fuck, but, you know, I hate his face. But Danielson and him, that was really damn good. And Danielson, another one, on his swan song, give the guy his flowers. Done so much. And he's such a draw. Just do it. But fine. So that was really the only match. I mean, the tag match was shit. It was dog shit. The women's match was dog shit. Swerve and Hangman. Listen, I can't stand fucking Hangman Page. Pegman Page, whatever you want to call him. He just doesn't draw for me in my headcanon. He just doesn't do it. Swerve, I was really happy. It was a Seattle guy. So the whole thing was, okay, here comes all these Seattle guys, including Aubrey Edwards, who's a Seattle girl. You know, everyone got their moment. Okay, the main event is Darby Allin versus Christian Cage. You could argue he's Seattle. Let's give it. Fine. If you're going to go the Seattle route, I really would have went Bryan Danielson with Zack Sabre Jr. I really would have. But that's just me. But the fact that they didn't told me Tony Khan loves his little surprises, and he's really awful at it. And he kept going on about this new era. And it's like, okay, what do you got for a new era? You know, my buddy is like, Tony Khan makes a big sandwich on next week's Dynamite is the announcement, because that's the meme going around. And it's pretty funny and sometimes accurate. But this time it was different. So you had Darby versus Christian in a really sick match. And, you know, some spots were extremely questionable. The stair spots. You know, Darby Allin, if you want to wrestle, this is not the way to go. Your career is very finite, sir. And I will argue that Christian is doing some of the best work of his entire career in this TNT run. He is really, really putting in the work, outworking everybody, so to speak. He's right under the heels of MJF. He's just nipping at MJF's heels for the top drawer in the company right now, because he's really, well, not maybe the top drawer, but the biggest focus in the company. We'll put it that way. The biggest focus right now. And he's doing a great job. He's an amazing heel. This whole father, your father's dead gimmick. It started funny, but it keeps on building, and he keeps finding ways to work it in, and it's good. But if you watch Tony Khan's scrum after the pay-per-views, everyone goes on there, and they're a mix of kayfabe and they're a mix of reality. Christian is straight up kayfabe. He looks like he's sucking a lemon the whole time. He's as pissed off as can be, and he just stays in character, and he does it so well. He's such a great contrast to the rest of, the happy, plucky, lucky to be there stars. So Christian gets the nefarious win, but it's not good enough. He wants to beat down Darby. So here comes Nick. Well, Nick Wayne turned on Darby, but whatever. That's not important. Do you really care about Nick Wayne? Come on. So Nick Wayne turns on Darby. Now you get the triumvirate of Luchasaurus, Nick Wayne, and Christian Cage. So they're beating Darby down. Who's going to make the thing? Well, it's got to be Sting. You knew he was coming. And, he took his sweet time getting down there. Steve Borden, not a spring chicken, but he's still one of the best there is. And on his way, gets there. Boom, same thing happens. The numbers game. And then you're like, well, I'm looking at my friend, and we're just kind of looking back at each other. We're like, holy shit, this pay-per-view is going to end like crap. We're really not going to get this. We might have just wasted our time watching this. And then Christian puts the chair down and grabs a second chair. And it's like, oh boy, we know what's coming. You're about to play the hits, tuning up that band for that concerto. And he raises it up. Lights go out. What happens? Well, in Tony Khan fashion, a really overbooked debut, because I'll get to it in a moment. But anyways, on the screen, it shows this like reel, and it says our feature presentation, and you get some desert music type deal. And all of a sudden you get a muscle car And the guy walking in really tight jeans and a leather jacket, who looks suspiciously a lot like Edge, Adam Copeland, and hops in, boom, hits the trail, starts going down. But it wasn't until he's driving over words on the road that said rated R. And the crowd, if you go back and watch it, because I'm a sick mark, I've watched it 3 times, popped like a motherfucker. It was pretty awesome. And that was when you're like, holy shit, this is happening. And, you know, Christian's still holding the chair over his head for a good 2 to 3 minutes. But then you hear the boom, Edge comes in, place fucking goes banana splits. It was nuts. And I was just like, oh my God, we're watching this. In 2023, we are seeing Edge in a AEW arena. And nothing about the presentation has changed. He kept Metalingus from Alter Bridge. He fucking kept the smoke. He kept the pyro. He kept the, running with his knees jumping high at each side of the ramp. I mean, rewatching it gave me goosebumps. There, I think it was too much to take in. We were kind of capping on the show, but like it was just, that's what happens when you don't watch it with full sound. And hindsight's 2020. So I rewatched it, and oh my God, I did get goosebumps. And you could just see it, like, wow. He just straight up came out, and then first day in the company, first night in the company, first minute in the company on screen, you have him connect with Christian Cage, which is a genius move. And there's the prone Sting and Darby Allin laying with their bodies lifeless. And Adam asks for the chair. Now, there was no doubt in my mind that he was going to turn on Christian. And he did. He whacked Nick Wayne good. Can't stand the little prick. And then threw it at Luchasaurus. And then Christian dipped out of there, left. Now, guys, if you catch this, Christian is really good at remaining in character. He's really good at not breaking. But I would like you to go back and rewatch when he's climbing up the ramp with the belt, leaving the ring. There's a definite, like, cheesy smile that he can't help but hide. And I think that's real life energy. That's real life. My best friend is working with me again. This is so fucking cool. But then he snaps himself back to earth and he does his stoic pose and all that. But it was a really magical moment. Now, AEW's had some magical debuts. Full Gear, the double debut of Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson was amazeballs. That was so cool. CM Punk coming out. The first dance in Chicago on Rampage when that kid cried. Amazing. This is right up there. Now, admittedly being a CM Punk fan, a humongous CM Punk Marky Mark, I have to admit, I'm a huge Edge mark too. I've been a huge Edge mark for a long time. I've just always loved Edge. I remember when he jumped over my shoulder at the, it used to be the Dunkin' Donuts Civic Center in Providence for a SmackDown taping with, actually it was a SmackDown taping with my dad and my friend Josh. And he jumped right over, him and Christian, when they had the crowd entrance, jumped right over our shoulders. And it was pretty fucking cool. But I've always been a fan of Edge ever since him and Christian teamed and did the 5-second pose. Like, they won me for life. Both of them. And I was rewatching this. I was like shit-eating grin. It was so awesome. I was frothing. I couldn't wait. So what do? I watched the goddamn scrum. I watched the scrum, son. And Tony Khan seems so much more at ease. I said this before on the channel, the last scrum. He looks like a man who's had a 20, 30-pound weight taken off his shoulders. A 100-pound weight taken off his shoulders. Because he is calm. He's not worried about some kind of political nightmare PR nightmare outburst from one of his talents. I mean, it just seems like things are clicking. And Adam Copeland there, I just have to say, man, he looks fucking happy. Why do fans want to resort to tribalism these days in wrestling? I don't get it. I like Burger King. I like McDonald's. I used to like Burger King, but I like Wendy's. There's room for fucking both. You don't have to be a loyalist and, my company is better than yours. No, save that for the basement. There's no need for that in the outside world. Be happy for these people. They are entertainers. They are physical actors. They give their bodies for us, and they give us moments that last lifetimes. They owe us fucking nothing of their life. Let them enjoy their life, especially someone like Adam Copeland. Seems like a great guy. Like, just let him enjoy it. He's given enough. Let him end out his career on the way he wanted. The first time he was robbed of his career, they took it from him. Life took it from him. This time he has the ability to be able to say, okay, I can do this on my terms, provided he stays healthy. He's not the healthiest fellow in the world usually. Sometimes he, gets injured. We know that from time to time. But yeah, man, how can you argue with a fresh palette? He gets to paint new pictures. He even said it, Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, Adam Cole, Eddie Kingston, MJF, Jon Moxley, surprisingly, they never fought each other, never faced each other in a WWE ring. All these things. He in his words, he said, that's a steak dinner waiting to be eaten by me. How do you argue? As a fan, that should be a steak dinner for you. Or if you're vegan, whatever kind of cauliflower that, really tickles your fancy. But man, or whatever you guys like more than cauliflower. I'm not going to just stereotype and say you like cauliflower, but whatever you guys eat, it is beyond meat, so to speak. It is just, come on. We've got so many opportunities. Adam Cole, if Mr. Glass comes back, we're going to have a lot of great times. MJF, yeah, eventually I'd like to see them go down that road. I think it's really interesting that they're going with Christian right away. And the reason why I said at the top of this, I do remember stuff. Reason why I said at the top that Tony Khan went from a wrestle dream to taking a stick of dynamite was last night was Dynamite's 4-year anniversary. I was at the second Dynamite ever, me and Donnie. And it was wonderful. And I remember thinking, man, this is never going to go down. And it's had its ebbs and flows, and AEW hasn't been the best. And it's not because of talent. It is not because of talent. It is because of booking. Booking is tumultuous, to say the least. But it's the 4th anniversary of Dynamite. And it didn't feel like the 4th anniversary of Dynamite. Now, I get it. They wanted to close the show out with Adam Copeland and his mission statement. And I thought that was great. But you had MJF with Jay White in the Bullet Club Gold. You had the Golden Jets with Chris Jericho and Omega, which I think is a cool team. And I really like the play on words. And I think that's a really cool team. But, come on. Nothing felt different than any other Dynamite. And this is Edge here. This is Adam Copeland. At the very least, I think he should have opened the show. He should have opened the fucking show. This is what you ended with it hot. Open with it hot, man. And that's where Tony Khan is like, no, I want to save it. Well, sometimes you save things too much. But so to speak, I really dug the promo that Adam did. By the way, how cool was it for Adam to get cheered as himself? He even said it. He's like, that's a cool one. I've never heard that before. But the guy's, he's happy to be there, man. Let him be happy. I don't think the ride's going to last more than 2 years. A lot of people are suspecting 1 year. I think he's a 2-year deal type of guy. And, but Christian is arguably doing some of the best work of his career. And he said multiple times in the scrum, and he said it again on Dynamite, which I thought was interesting. Again, wrestlers using kayfabe and mix of real life. And he said, I asked my daughters, Ruby and Lyric, what does daddy do? Does daddy retire? And they said, why don't you go be with Uncle Jay and have fun? Uncle Jay being Christian. And it went suspiciously a lot against Christian's gimmick right now because, the scrum prior, this should have tipped me off too that this was coming. The scrum prior after All Out was someone said, hey, what do you think about the rumors that your old friend Adam Copeland might be joining AEW? And he goes, I have no friends. Other than Luchasaurus, I have no friends. And I thought it was fucking great because that straight face, purse lips, lemon, sucking stare just did a great job. And yeah, so you got them in the ring, and you had Adam give his explanation of why he did what he did. And he said, we've been friends for 40 plus years. We have gone up and down the road together. Our dream was always to end together. And he's like, Jay, I hate seeing you like this, seeing you in this world that you're in, being more of a prick than usual. And then he gives him that speech about, don't put your eggs in these kids because they're going to turn on you, alluding to what happened in the Judgment Day with Edge when Finn Balor came along. And I think that's pretty cool. I think that there is some meat on the bone there, but I don't want it to be a direct translation or homage to what's going on with WWE. That's something that AEW struggles with. They need to create something brand new. Don't go the TNA route and just be WWE light, which they haven't been, because the stuff that they hit, the best friends with, the brochachos for life with Adam Cole and MJF, gold. Nothing was better than it this summer, as far as I'm concerned. Those kind of things, when they put their oomph into it, it really kicks ass. But you get the promo, and you get him saying, but you did this, you were gonna hurt Sting, our childhood idol Sting, the guy that you took a headshot of and brought into our barbershop so you could get your hair cut like Sting, and I was Lex Luger. I thought that was so cool to interject real life backstory into this kind of stuff. And Christian's just standing there, very stoic, pursed lips, just glaring. And he's like, listen, I forgive you already for whatever you've done. I forgive you for what you're going to do, and I'll be there for you when the chips fall. He goes, but it's time, Jay. It's time. It's time for, E and C to go back together, even though it's probably going to be A and C, Adam and Christian. And he's like, let's just do it. Let's go against FTR. Let's go against the Young Bucks. And let me tell you something. I didn't know I wanted it until I heard those fucking words come out of his mouth. I want FTR versus Edge and Christian. I mean, Adam Copeland and Christian. I want the Young Bucks versus Adam Copeland and Christian. I want those things happening because, man, would that be stellar if they could just do it the right way. So I'm hoping. Here's hoping against hope. But that wasn't what was going there. And then he tells Christian, it's time, please, hat in hand. I just want to do this. And Christian holds out his arms for the big hug with the TNT title just firmly on his shoulder, gleaming, and gives him a hug, pulls the mic in close, and tells him, go fuck yourself. Boom, mic drop, literally. And walks away with that wry smile, goes to the top of the ramp with his good boy, Nick Wayne, and his protege, Luchasaurus, leaving Adam Copeland stunned. And the reason why I said it was a stick of dynamite is that was cool, but it could have been so much fucking better. You had the chance to take arguably AEW's version of WCW signing Hulk Hogan and make it that. But you didn't quite hit the mark on it, unfortunately. Now, does it make me any less interested in what Adam Copeland's going to do? Fuck no. I'm going to be watching Dynamite. I'm watching Collision. I'm going to check all that shit out. I can't wait for him to wrestle. But it could have been more. And I'm hoping that they do find a way to juice this up more. Because, yeah, having him go against Christian, I mean, he even said in his promo, AEW title would look really damn good around my waist. He didn't mention the TNT title. Now, do they have him go do the final boss thing and have to work through the lackeys to get to Christian? Sure, probably. I could see that happening. Maybe Full Gear. It's Adam versus Christian. Does it need to be for the TNT championship? No. So my guess is Christian loses that title before Adam and him face off. Somehow, by hook or by crook, it's cost. And that will make him say, all right, now you've got my attention. Now I'm going to work with you. Because he didn't want to work with him. I think he's going to just kind of give him the bum's rush and say, nah, I'm not working with you. You're beneath me. You're a nostalgia act. You're an old man. I'm at the top of my game. You can't hold a candle to me right now. And then he loses that TNT title and he's like, all right, motherfucker, now it's on. You wanted me, now you get me. And we're going to get some magic, I think. Because I do think I hate to say it, I do think the TNT title is beneath Adam Copeland. You didn't bring him in for the motherfucking AEW TNT title. You brought him in for the top brass. You brought him in for that championship. You brought him in to make moments. You brought him into main event. You brought him in to be a WWE killer. But can he be a WWE killer? Listen, I thought MJF could do it. He was on his way a little bit. Didn't quite work out. Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson didn't do it. CM Punk didn't do it. But as much of a Punk Marky Mark I am, Adam Copeland is your signing. It is your Hulk Hogan moment of AEW. Now, can they turn this into their NWO moment? I don't know. We're going to see. I'm super stoked, really excited. I had to get on the horn. It was an extra long one. Thank you for putting up with my voice. And I'm dying to see what you guys think in the comment section. Remember, we are on the trek to 1,000, the push to 1,000 subscribers. We are so close. We thank all of you. I know Big Time Donnie thanks you too. And we definitely want to get there, but we want to get there in a way that befits you guys. So if there's something else you want us to see, if you want more SmarkTank, essentials, if you want some more pay-per-view reviews, if you just want some off-the-cuff, commentary and, editorial pieces like this, let us know. But let's face it, we're going to do what we're going to do, and that's it.